Hey traders, happy Saturday to you. Thanks for being here. I think it's episode 878 or something. Didn't know about streaming or not, these days on Saturdays. Just because, what's the point? But just forgot, it's leap year and leap day is today, and tomorrow is March 1st. And on Universal Time, in less than 1 hour, we will have a new monthly candle. So, kind of just want to be here for that. Will probably be a blah stream. So, we're just going to grit through it until we get that new candle. All right. So, 86.41 right now, below the 200-day moving average. And, that happened yesterday. But as you can see, we kind of ran up to it. And it's kind of resistance now. Now we're selling off. I don't know. It's not really the lagging indicator. It's just there. So this is all like reiteration of the analysis pretty much. Like a low on price to the high. 50% retrace and no lower yet. That 50% retrace is confluent with a historical support resistance. Looking left. We could go as low as 8,200 and be okay. But if you break below 82 to 8,500, you got to understand, most likely Bitcoin will see 7,400. So that is why it's so important to stay above this area that was once resistance, up-thrusted resistance. Resistance before, and now maybe, if you're lucky, maybe Bitcoin might finally use it as support instead of effing resistance, right? That's what's natural in uptrends. If this 7 months of consolidation after the huge run up, I mean, you would think that eventually the selling would subside with a higher low than 7,000, 6,900, and the rally could continue. But I just feel like even with the next move up, once we do bottom out, I think we'll end up making a lower high, a double top, or slightly higher high, and then we might just be in the midst of creating some sort of harmonic pattern where we had the first wave. I think this is X to A. The next wave is a short one, and the wave after this, that should be the rally, will be a shorter one, and then we would get another large wave down. And maybe if the harmonics to play out, whichever harmonic comes to be, which still in the midst of, is it going to be 50% or 61% retrace before we reverse? Depending on that, the PCCs would change. It would either be a 786 or an 886, which is like 6,900 or 7,300. But again, man, it's too early to tell. All we can do is kind of hypothesize, since the technical analysis is really telling us there's more room to sell off. Okay. Because you're not oversold yet. Your negative momentum is still at its highest level. And the 4-hour positive momentum we finally got has just turned into nothing. I mean, it's just, what the heck happened here, man? Oh, maybe I did this in log scale. Either way, it doesn't matter. So you're just kind of creating, impulse down, and now we got this down sloping consolidation. With prices starting to converge more. I mean, look, you could think you could sell off to 83.39, right? You're just inside the small potential pattern. The divergence you had manifested into lower highs. I mean, and this is what we're talking about, like, I think if you sell off again, we'll lose the positive momo and we'll get into negative momentum territory, and that's when we might get some really good looking bullish divergence on the 4-hour MACD. Okay, yet to happen. Have not fallen below 8,500 yet. But if you do, you could expect 8,200, and if you don't hold 8,200, you should expect probably 7,400. I don't know, 7,700 could be maybe argued as support resistance, but it's really 7,400. Okay. No, I don't think so, man. So yeah, I was definitely looking at the S&P today. Some probably shouldn't be looking at the charts on the weekends from a mental health, but hey man, went bowling last night. So and didn't really have any plans today. So Anyway, I guess we could look at some of that stuff. How do we look at it? It was on this. I think it was this. Oh man, we have to, the volume has to be here then. What is this crap? I'm confused here. What's up, Chris? Thanks for the sub, dude. Glad to have you. So S&P 500, we looked at this, and we also looked at gold. I don't know if I can even do it here. I'm gonna have to probably pull this up. I'm just gonna pull the screenshots. There's no point in just redoing it. Okay, there it is. Okay, so something was interesting on the S&P 500 where we're looking at, I was looking at high volume, and where we had the highest amount of volume on the S&P 500 since 2015. Maybe we should confirm that. Yeah, since 2015. And with that being said, every time you get these large spikes in volume, you normally reverse. Whether it's a reversal immediately and then you sell off again and then you just make like a double bottom, lower low, whatever, and then run again. You normally get pretty extreme reactions, right? Like, so it ran up, made an 88% retrace, then dumped again. But the amount of volume that's coming in, right here, you hit this high volume, you pump before selling off again, right? We get that impulse. Look at the V-shaped recovery we had late 2018, early 2019, right? High volume, huge recovery, and here we are again with volume exceeding these levels like nothing, exceeding this one, exceeding everything until, you know, back 20, you know, the SPY showing 2015 is was higher volume than on that jump and then pump. Okay, so just saying, you had the high, extreme high volume, but it's not just that, man. Let me also the fact, and I know, man, like, whatever you want to say, you can talk all the crap you want. It's really easy to talk crap without an argument. At least I'm trying to present an argument with technical analysis, where other people are just gonna say, oh, it doesn't matter. One person, a 50-plus-year-old woman in Washington died today, so markets are screwed tomorrow or on Monday, right? I mean, come on, dude. It's kind of a known thing. We knew that that was gonna happen. But how can one woman in Washington die? How could that be a catalyst for more selling after what we saw on Friday in the last 30 minutes of trading, where stupid amounts of volume came in, stupid amounts of buying came in, and painted at close a bullish hammer? And where did it reverse from the low to high? A 50% retrace that was confluent with previous all-time highs from January 2018. You bounced off that resoundingly. You're at levels on the RSI now where, you know, in the past with all the volume in the pumps, that's where all the RSI was there too. So there is an argument that, since what happens on Fridays normally? Fridays are normally terrible days. Yeah, you gap down. Pretty terrible day until the last 30 minutes of trading. It all turned around and actually looks pretty decent. Like, what? That's just showing the psychology of buyers and sellers, where the sellers just didn't have it in them. And again, like, record levels of volume came in. Huge amounts of volume came in. So it's like, what does that mean? A lot of volume on a candle like this? Meaning the sellers did everything they effing could to push this down, but there were too many buyers at this level. Okay, so that can usher in reversals, and I'm not saying it's going to reverse and go to all-time highs again. I'm just saying that there could be some sort of rally, a relief rally. That's it. That's the argument. Whatever, dude. Why would I analyze the VIX, dude? It goes up and down. Yeah, it's at the top of a range. Hadn't, very seldom gets there. It's kind of like RSI on the S&P and volume on the S&P. It seldom gets there. So that means that chances are there's a very elevated probability it's going to drop, which would be maybe the stock market rallying.
I like the weekend streams, more relaxed. 0.04810000-A.
Thanks to Law for the $4.18 a dash. Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, more chill. Less people. It's whatever. It's more difficult for me. Like, you got to understand, weekend streams are extremely difficult for me because of how little chat there is, how little I can engage because there's just not as many people watching. So it does make it tough. So not only did the first U.S. death occur from the coronavirus, the United States also signed a treaty with the Taliban, ending the United States' longest war in history. So that's pretty good, right? I mean, for all this stuff they're talking about, Trump's the most dangerous man in the world. He was the first president to ever, cross the DMZ to talk to the communist or the totalitarian dictator.
Virus not contagious like silly coronavirus or Mero fever. Ancient Chinese proverbs say, avoid bat, no catch virus. Can you take a rook at square, please? I will be so thankful, like thirsty thrower in summer rain, nerd face.
Thanks, Modelo virus. Yeah, avoid bat. Get no virus, exactly. Thank you, man. So Square saved by good earnings report. And technically, still kind of outside the top of the range, or the ascending triangle on the weekly, if you want to call it that, that's fine. You want to talk about some sort of a little bit of hidden bullish divergence? We had a low on price. You had a higher low on price, higher levels of negative momentum. I don't think it would have played out if earnings were bad, right? It would have just dumped again back inside the range. But again, it's trying to rally. And on Friday, huge bullish engulfing candle. So not bad. In a way, it's like a three-line strike, but it's a scuffed three-line strike because the three previous candles are all over the place, but you engulfed all three of them, so we got a new pattern on our hands. Anyway, three-line strikes are really, really rare bullish reversal patterns where you have three red candles, that all sell off, kind of like three black crows or something, and then you have one huge bullish engulfing candle that closes higher than all three of them. That is a three-line strike. So in a way, it is technically that, just kind of weird looking. So anyway, what do you want on Square? It seems like if you don't really break this, high risk, right? Because then this is a great pivot. It will be really cool to see the follow the price action. Are we going to stay out of this? Because the first target, if you do stay out of this, is $90.90. And if the macro somehow starts recovering next week, that's going to be real good for this asset that held up through everything. It held up, man. Square. So you break 90.90, you're going to fill a gap back from near all-time highs, October 2018. That's at 94.30, and that's confluent with a 1414 fib extension. Okay. Am I scared of the coronavirus? Absolutely not. Dude, if I get sick by the coronavirus, it's not going to kill me, dude. I'm not a child or an elderly person. I'll be fine. But I probably won't get it because of where I live. So, yeah, Japan's closing up all their schools or something. Yeah, everything keeps shutting down, and it's going to continue. Like, this quarantining stuff, all around the world, it's going to continue, and that's really not good. I mean, like, every day that this keeps happening, more money is going to be lost. But hey, how much money was lost from the markets from the all-time highs to where we are now? $6 trillion, man, wiped out. It's gone. Ran for the hills. Yep, exactly. And we had this crazy drama in the Discord with virus talk. I had nothing. I didn't even know like what was going on. Anyway, it just not even worth talking about. Whatever. So here's your weekly on Square that still again has broken out technically, but just freaking barely, man. Almost not even at all yet. Barely overbought. Looks great. Nice volume on the breakout. The breakout that you broke out last week too, but you just gapped down early in the week because of the macro, and you've been able to recover because of earnings. So again, gap fill 94.30. That'd be, I would think on the weekly, that'd be your target if you can sustain prices outside of this for an extended amount of time. I've read that it can infect animals like dogs and cats. Can someone back me up on that? I might be wrong, but I read something about it, so. No, I don't think that warrants a ban at all, Kanatoma. If you're watching, absolutely not. That'd be crazy to ban someone for that. Okay, so whatever. Looking at Square, yeah, we can look at some altcoins now that haven't done much of anything either. I mean, I shouldn't even be live right now, but Bitcoin's monthly closes, so it's worth it. Let's just look at Litecoin on the weekly. Bearish engulfing candle after hitting. It was a major resistance on the daily, not so much of a major resistance on the weekly. I mean, I see it, right? Like the lows here, and then the wick up, but you know, that's pretty bad. And look at the weekly volume that came in on the selling here, and you know, at the end of the day, on the weekly for Litecoin, you got to end up making a higher low than 40 bucks. You do that, everything will be fine, I think. There's tons of bearish convergence so far. The daily, still not oversold on the daily. Huge spike. I mean, the negative momentum continues to build as you keep getting lower on the RSI. I mean, not much movement because Bitcoin's not moving much, but it almost looks identical right here, doesn't it? So from your low point to high point, you've retraced about 50% of the way. You're just sitting at the 200-day moving average, the 618, to be the next target at 54.60. If Bitcoin continues to sell off, Litecoin's going to go with it. Not a big deal. I guess next real support. I mean, I'm thinking like the major support's going to be down at like $48, $50. That'll be major. But anyway, you're just in the middle of the golden zone now. You're just in common retrace, moderate retrace territory. So you could reverse at any time. But the fact that we're not oversold leads you to believe it is possible with Bitcoin. You could see lower prices next. That's okay.
But Mitch, this is clearly the powers that be using the coronavirus as cover to collapse the global economy to usher in the mark of the Beast One world currency system. Hashtag tinfoil.
Greg Noblin, thanks for the 10, dudes. Yeah, I guess you could look at it that way. We could, the lizard people, or sure, dude. Sure. Thanks, man. I don't even know. I'm speechless. You took my breath away with that. Yeah, it was just, the timing was there. I mean, when you were technically getting, 1618's gold mean ratios were exceeded. Divergence was continuing on the daily, on the RSI, when it was there so much on the MACD. Yeah, that one more run up, and then it was all over. So, yeah, it's real bad, because it's what the quarantine, it's not, I mean, the virus sucks because people are dying and people are getting sick, but it's kind of far, like the economic damage being done is real bad, you know, because like of what the precautions people are taking, governments around the world are taking to prevent the spread of it. That is what's causing all the damage. Not so much the virus itself. Okay, that's spreading pretty rapidly. All the dad jokes up in here today. Do I think Bitcoin could revisit the 786 on the weekly given the current market conditions? Market conditions for Bitcoin don't seem too bad. I mean, I don't even know what people are talking about when they say Bitcoin's screwed because coronavirus, when fundamentally you'd think it would be good for Bitcoin in a way, because it's like, hey man, fiat's physical, you touch fiat, you're gonna get sick, man, everyone's scared.
Silly American dog. Let me tell you a riddle secret. China steal all your technology, and you never even realize. Hey, oh yes, we Chinese call it plucking American flowers to make honey in China. But Chinese trade are not good like Mitch. Check CGC priest? Nerd face.
Thanks Mandela for the threes. Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, of course, they counterfeit, they copy. Of course, man. We know that. You know, where you are now, you're still trying to hang on for dear life. The daily closed with a bullish reversal pattern. But anything you want to believe, and you need to tell me, chat, what this bullish reversal pattern is. Tell me, man. I won't do any more analysis until you tell me right here. The previous two candles that are Japanese candlestick pattern. What is it? I'll wait for an hour. I'll sit here till I get an answer. No, it's not a boogeyman excuse to shift society. It's literally a reality that happened, and it is going to take a toll. It literally will take an economic toll on the world economy. Close lost your gun. Close. Fishhead got it though. It's called piercing line. That's what it is, man. Where you have a red candle and the next candle opens below the close of the previous one. It did. Sold off in the morning and rallied the rest of the day to close, piercing 50% minimum of the body of the previous candle. This is a bullish reversal. That's it. CQN, we had a talk, man, you know, like $2 super chat, they take 30%. It's like, you know, $3 minimum on TTS and all that stuff. So, you know, that wouldn't even show up if it wasn't super chat. So, not to be that guy, but that's literally how it goes. So, okay, over here doing education on Japanese candlestick pattern. So we could see a bounce if the macro holds up. Zoom out. Oh man, abandoned baby reversal, failed, dumped right back to pretty much near entry, I guess, of the old trade setup where you just, you know, you can't hold it. Almost looks like Cisco. So you're praying here that there is a rally because this is not good. I mean, there's a gap filled down at freaking 1531 if things get bad enough. So you can only pray for the macro here. That's it. Other than that, I mean, value areas because of the momentous sized freaking bullish Gartley that was in development since before even the Great FOMO 2017. It's like started in June of 2017. So eventually, if, I mean, the world doesn't collapse completely, you would think a common retrace area would be between $31 and $41.75. Okay, someone's complaining about the music being loud. Is that true? Because no one else has complained about it this entire stream. 30 minutes now. I did ask for a sound check like way back, but I don't even know if it's Aw. Got nothing else to do, buddy, on a Saturday but to be mad? Hey, I own you and live rent-free in your mind. Not allowed. Okay, I'm just gonna turn the effing music down. Whatever. Oh, whatever. Good on your end. Well, it's gonna be even worse now. So, Ethereum, same thing. You know, like if you look at it, the way we looked at Litecoin, where it looked like it's just consolidating right now. You definitely got some price contraction going on, right? A little pennant, could be a bear pennant. So it just create the pattern. It could go either way. You know, just stupid crap like that. It's barely anything, and it could turn into. It may not even be this. It could turn into something else, right? If Bitcoin does. So it's just okay. Bid and ask is the spread is getting smaller and smaller, closer together, and eventually one side will relent where you'll break to the upside or downside, and that's it. And if you break the downside, that'd be great because you'd make lower lows. You might get down to $200, $195, and at that point, if we're lucky, then we could get this. Right? We could get bullish divergence on the MACD like we're looking for on Bitcoin too. So that's it.
Hey Mitch, do you think sometime in the future you can put together a digital class to get noobs caught up to the stream? Like make a digital product to offer 24/7?
Derek, I don't know what you mean, man. Like, me streaming 7 days a week is more than pretty much anyone else in this space does, or anyone that's a content creator. So, I don't know. I sacrifice a lot of my time to do this. So, I don't know what you mean by 24/7. Like, what? Just have a stream that's up 24/7? I mean, I don't know what you mean exactly. Like a BitBlaster or something that's just like a website. I don't get it. Thank you for the 690 though. I know, someone's always music trolling. There's your Ethereum, CQ. We looked at that. Might as well look at Link. It's actually somehow up today. But, indecision, right? What's up, Dirt? Desert. So it's, you know, still doesn't even have positive momentum, not making higher highs yet. And this could just be one of those X, A, B, C, D things where you're attempting a rally here after a pretty nasty sell-off, and it could just be not enough demand, too much supply, or a mix of both before another sell-off begins. So you got to understand there is no value here. I don't care if you just pivoted and are rallying again. It doesn't mean that Link is going to go to much higher prices right now. There just is no point. I mean, that's it. That's all you're getting. So you make a lower high, then you could end up with
Thanks
XABCD.
for showing up 7 days a week, Mitch.
Thanks, Miss Shaffer, man, for being here a lot of those days and showing your support, dude. Really appreciate it. All right, you could just get something like this, and then it's an 88% retrace if it's a bat. 786 could also be maybe a potential reversal area too. All right, that's what we be seeing here. It's just a wave analysis that happens over and over and over and over again on all markets. Yeah, it will be another big week. Sure thing, Dirch, or Dessert. Thanks for subbing and watching. So, Dessert, how did you even find me, man? Would you just, did you just type in Bitcoin Live or something? Or, and I was live? You know, I'm just always curious for new subs now. They changed the algorithms last year in June, so it's made it a lot more difficult for anyone to grow on YouTube anymore, unless you're doing TikTok reviews or Fortnite reviews. Okay. Yeah, mask sellers probably killing it. Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know, man. This is an attempted rally that could end up just being a lower high, and then we could get like a wave like this. We could get another large wave like that you know, makes a higher low, but you could go to much lower levels first. Okay. Grayscale Tiggers, talking about like GBTC dessert. Okay, someone asked about VeChain earlier. VeChain, dude. I don't know, man. It's almost like a triple top or something. It's just a big, like, range bound asset, you know, between 4.6 of a cent and 0.8 of a cent. You're just stuck in between that. We had a bullish trade setup that played out brilliantly. You hit both targets, and then it's like as if market makers were watching the stream, or if they had studied Rising Three Valleys or Three Rising Valleys, right? And they were like, hey, we're going to trade this perfectly, and then we're going to dump it at the 100% measured move. Like, okay, fine. And they did it. So this one was awesome, but now it's not showing me anything promising. I don't see opportunity on the daily at all, just like I don't see opportunity quite yet on Bitcoin or any other altcoin. It's just the way it is. You got to let these waves play out, and normally the waves end with buyer or with seller exhaustion on a significant time scale. We don't have it yet. That's it. We just don't have it. So I was live on the sidebar. Interesting. Yeah, well, a year ago, crypto holder, the algos were in my favor. Paul, I don't even know what that means, dude. When did you find me? 92.5. Okay, we've got 20 minutes. 20 minutes until the monthly candle close on Bitcoin. Let's go to it real quick and just, what does it look like right now? Bitcoin 85.55. Oh, this monthly is not going to do what Todd Bazar said it was going to do. Didn't really think it was. You're just showing a red candle, almost like a shooting star. I don't know. It might just be an indecision candle, but not really the follow through price action you were wanting to see after you painted a brilliant January engulfing. And the last time we had seen an engulfing candle was a scrubby one back from February 1st, 2019, and it rallied like the Jesus man. Not right now, not going too great on the monthly. Oops, sorry. Ooh, look at this in log scale. Yeah. So this candle will be painted. This is pretty much what it's going to look like in 20 minutes. Okay, this candle. Gross. No, we hadn't covered gold yet this stream.
Would you rather sound like Jar Jar Binks for the rest of your life, or look like Jar Jar Binks for the rest of your life?
Probably sound like him and get a voice changer, because you can, if you look like him, you can't do anything. You're screwed. You know, you're just literally screwed. So I'd rather just sound like him for the rest of my life. Dude, I've got, look, I sounds like this, and it's like I
sounds like this, so I don't sound as crazy now, and
I can do like dialect training and that stupid Jar Jar accent. I can just make it Americanized, and that's it. Work on my speech impediments that I'd be given, but that's a terrible hypothetical because there's no winning. It's just like you just two terrible things. Would you rather get killed or die? I don't know. Like, right? It's awful. Thanks for the threes. Link's dumping. Oh my god. Well, just said Link terrible areas value, and it could sell off hardcore because it hasn't yet with everything else that has. We got. Bitcoin dumping, man. I mean, dumping. Good God, dude. $150 is not a dump. I'm sorry. Just not. And it was only like $100. What is up with that? Okay, so going into 18 minutes until a monthly close, and you're selling off. Oh, okay, great. So whatever. It doesn't really tell us too much. It's not a bullish candle. It's not what you wanted to see. You just wanted to see another green candle here. Not that great, man. We look at the weekly and log the way we've been looking at it, and yeah, I mean tomorrow around this time, we're gonna get a weekly candle close, and it's gonna be a bearish engulfing candle. Bearish engulfing candle, and you're just sitting around this very critical historical support resistance zone between 8,200 and 8,500. That's it. Gosh dang, man. Some of these trend lines shouldn't be here. But, looking at log, I just had like this 1 and 2 on the bottom. That was a leg, and I think we legged up. And we're just choosing 1 here and then 2. And it's like, so I think you might have a potential demand line around 7,700, depending on when you get there. One way to look at it. But the real big idea on Bitcoin on the weekly is this. I mean, that's what's really good looking. Or we could be in the development of a potential inverse head and shoulders that is huge size. I mean, this is an insanely large pattern. Yeah, Decrypto. What was an up thrust? It failed. Yeah, certainly. No, thanks to the macro, right? I mean, is it really Amazon's fault? I mean, it's gonna affect Amazon. It's gonna affect everyone. Apple, Microsoft, you name it, man. Procter & Gamble, dude, everything. The narrative was always, I think it was, we never had a negative Valentine's Day, and I don't even think we had a really much of a negative Valentine's Day this year, but I don't know, February. Just this is what happens, man. This is exactly what can happen. It has nothing to do with Corona. It had nothing to do with Corona when the rally started, so I don't even want to hear that. And if we keep selling, I don't want to hear Corona. Like, dudes, falling wedges, if you watch this stream at all, where they commonly go to before reversing the downside. Well, it hit the 50% retrace and is now reversing. Wow. It's so surprising. The only people that can't believe it are those that didn't get in down here when we got in. The inverse head, it was kind of like an inverse head and shoulders, a high or low back test of a spring with a bullish engulfing candle, 7250 entry. And then you created this, whatever, you want to call it a rising wedge, sure, channel, doesn't matter. It was just the wave up to hit the common retrace target, the profit taking level, and it never hit the secondary target, not yet, but maybe in time it could. Not oversold, so could still sell off more. Link has bearish divergence in the weekly. What does that tell you, John? That means it's probably screwed in the short term. Could reverse to the downside. Oh yeah, let me say thanks so much for the 250 people here. It's almost like a Twitch night stream. Okay. Again, I wouldn't be here, but it's the monthly closing, so people don't care, but whatever. I'm gonna be live for it. We're just gonna see where Bitcoin is. Not gonna be much different than what it is now, unless you just get stupid amounts of selling, which it's the weekend, so you wouldn't expect it to be so
Can we
bad.
look at Brooks, aka Brooks? Thanks.
Thanks for the 5s, dude. uptrend. Bull flag major move. Up thrusted through the supply line. Hit a freaking high to low gold mean ratio. And has been dumping. And look where you went because of the macro. So soon approaching, I believe, a demand line. You would think of the historical uptrend. It's historical uptrend, right? History for years, right? So didn't really start anchoring till like 1 and 2, and then kind of 3 here. Everything just it made the most sense with the touches I'm getting inside the way I have it now. So getting real close, getting real freaking close to the bottom. Seems like you're probably at an 88% retrace, or you fell maybe just slightly below it. It's probably where that 236 was. Oh, there you go. You touched the 886 like the Jesus. And when you touched it like the Jesus, end of day, huge rally like the rest of the stock market. I mean, many assets had those rallies going into close. And it's so interesting because it's like you had that rally going into close and you knew that it was going to be the last day of the month for the stock market too. So 88% retrace, that is the Mariana Trench, the deepest retrace before 100%. So there's no pattern here. There's no bullish divergence, only bullish or bearish convergence. So based on anything but scalping, there's not really a buying signal here. Not much volume that came in at the end of the day, right? So yeah, you're at a deep retrace and you're near the bottom of the uptrend. So yeah, that means that the probability would be higher that we could you could have a relief rally with the macro if the macro does it, right? If the macro on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday starts dumping again, this is going with it. It's that simple. It's just like looking at altcoins and Bitcoin, right? You'd like a big dip? Well, we've already had that, man, in the stock market. So, but people just think that it's just going to keep going down forever. I mean, but if you failed to see what happened Friday afternoon, the last 30 minutes of trading, I'm sorry, because those are things, very important things that occurred. So let's see what. Now I do want to talk about real quick. We're going from the low point from March of 2009, the bottom of the global financial crisis, to this new high at nearly $3,400. If we look at it in log scale, percentage change, you're not even close, right? 236 is at $2,300. And the golden zone for the S&P 500 is 1242 to 1822, with a 50% retrace being pretty much confluent with the double top that we saw 2000 and 2007. And that, I mean, but I think there's maybe some support at like, like 2137. But, you know, at the end of the day, everything's going to be fine if it makes a higher low than at the December 2018 low. That's pretty much what matters the most, because if you do that, that's the major discernible low. Okay, sell off, make a higher low, you could run again, and the rally could continue, believe it or not. Even though it seems difficult to believe right now with what is happening to the supply chain around the world, how much money is going to be lost. You know, until there, you know, is a vaccine that comes out that can really start stopping the spread of this illness, or really just, you know, you see what I'm saying? It could get a lot worse before it gets better. And, you know, with this channel plotted the way it is, there's a lot of downside potential, isn't there? I mean, just to hit if you just kept going straight down, you could hit the bottom of the channel at 2440, right? And you'd still be in the uptrend technically. So, wow. But we don't have to be that extreme, because, you know, there are other ways to look at the Fibonacci here. Not in log scale, in linear scale. You've got your, you know, December 2018 low to the all-time high, and you can see 50% retrace. I think we brought it up early in the stream, confluent with that all-time high January 2018, when we went after that high. We went 1.5 years of consolidation before breaking out and going to higher highs, all-time highs. So bullish hammer, extreme amounts of volume, highest amount of volume the S&P 500 had seen since 2015. So a 5-year high on volume with a bullish hammer at a critical support leads you to believe it is possible, and being so effing oversold, it is possible we get a relief rally next week. Even though it is not certain. Never certain. Yeah, the cube got destroyed, but Square made it. Is that a joke, dude? We got 8 minutes, and I will get out of y'all's hair. All right, just here for the monthly close, which Bitcoin just hit its lowest low of the day, 85.40 something. It's 85.50 right now. But no surprise with Bitcoin not being oversold on the daily. Not surprising. Not surprising with now the 4 hour on Bitcoin showing positive momentum on lower highs. Terrible. That is, I mean, before we had this, we even talked about the scenario of just going sideways, painting some scrubby little positive momentum island, and then you dump again to lower lows, and then that's when we start getting some real discernible, good-looking MACD divergence on this time scale. And at the same time as having bullish divergence on the 4 hour, you finally get oversold on the daily. Wouldn't that be grand? I don't know. I wouldn't be touching Ethereum Classic, dude. I mean, after what it did it better than any of them. It's not going to stop selling probably if Bitcoin keeps selling. So wait for divergence. They don't have it. None of them have it yet. Crypto down 50 billion in 2 weeks. That's crypto. But the problem is people keep, for some reason, correlating Bitcoin's price to coronavirus, which is just certainly not the case. Because, dude, I mean, if it was, like, why in the world did I tweet about January 15th before Bitcoin had even come close to hitting a 50% retrace? That's a profit-taking level for a trader on a huge falling wedge pattern. Because it hits that target, and that's a potential reversal area. Well, mother of God, where we lost that $50 billion was after we hit the 50% retrace. It's so crazy. I think Bitcoin is really technical, and it's just playing technicals right now. That's it. Wave analysis, doing what it's kind of supposed to do. Yeah, Fibonacci is kings, man. Imagine not believing in Fibonacci. Math in our universe. It's everywhere. We got less than 6 minutes, chat. What happened? Dude, hold on. Oh my God. Yeah, thanks for the 600 plus here. I don't know. I guess my thing froze or something. My viewer count froze. I don't know. Because I try to like, thanks for watching, you know, and it's like, get the wrong number. Okay, saved. Good. Okay, so 5 minutes. 5 minutes above 8,500, 5 minutes till the monthly candle close. And then in the next 24 hours, we're going to be getting a weekly candle close. I wouldn't call Ethereum a symmetrical triangle. I'd just call it a pennant. Far too small to be a sim triangle, which we've already looked at in the stream. Yeah, Nvidia killed it. Oh my God, top performer. One of the top 2 or 3 on the S&P on Friday. Yeah, and hopefully we get fall through. But I don't know. People are now just scared. I mean, retail is scared that one person dying in America, a woman in her late 50s or mid 50s from coronavirus. It's like, did you not expect that to happen at some point? It was going to happen. And I mean, it's not like that should be surprising to the market. Like, that's why the selling's happening, you know. It's not because of people dying again, right? It's because of what it's doing to supply chains and what it's logistically doing to hurt numbers for all these companies. It's reality. It's fact. It's not real fear. It's fear of the reality, I think, from this selling. And again, that's why, like, maybe we rally on Monday next week some point. But when we rally, it's going to be really telling, like, what kind of rally are we going to get? Are we going to get a scrub rally, barely, just methodically going up and eventually just make a 38, 50%, 62% retrace, and then we just dump again? because those could be opportunities to tail the market. We get to common retrace areas once that retrace starts happening, which we don't really know yet, even though it seems very possible with 5-year high volume, the bullish hammer, a 50% retrace, backtesting year 2018 all-time highs. Seems very possible rally next week. Adam, we already looked at that, but I mean, we can look at it again in a couple minutes. 3 minutes, chat. Oh my god, dude. Too many bots. Too many bots. It's weird. Is the bot just like copying what people said earlier in the stream? That's pretty ridiculous. We'll just go ahead and knock it out. We've got 2 minutes left. You are at the lowest low of the day. And if you sell off below 8,500 the next 2 minutes, I mean, this actually, if you close where you are now, it will be the lowest low where traders are settling up of this entire move down, of this whole wave down, right? Lowest low right here. The wicks are there, but you know, that's not where traders settled up. Okay. Traders are settling up here and it keeps selling on. So going really weak into a monthly close, kind of gross, but that's okay, because again, man, based on the oscillators, it seems likely we would sell off to lower prices. I mean, 8,200 maybe on the weekly, and if you want to see a golden retrace on Bitcoin, you got to go down to $8,000. That's only $500 away. It's really not that big a deal, man. Valfred, you might be a little late, dude. Like really late, because just check to see if the stream's live. Hit that live button, dude, because yeah, we did that trivia like, I don't know, 40 minutes ago. Are we still? Yeah, we're still in the descending broadening wedge. 85.31, less than 1 minute ago, chat. Okay. Guess we can head on over to the monthly. So weird. So here it is, man. Shooting star or something. Kind of a reversal. But really not that bad, right? I mean, this huge run up. Okay, it's lost about half the value. From this low down here to this high, 50% retrace. Not a big deal. Yeah, Brett, for sure. Ten seconds. 10 seconds. There it is. 31 days to go until a new candle is born. So I wonder if we get price action right now, just because a new monthly. You saw it here live with us. Who else is live right now covering a monthly candle close for Bitcoin? Anyone? Bueller? On a Saturday? Here we are, man. All right, so you saw the monthly. We're back on the daily now. No, I'm looking at a 3-time leveraged ETF is never really a good idea because of the decay that is inherent with those. You just normally want to look at the regular asset and make your decision on that. Okay.
Happy Saturday from Napa area, California. Can you look at KNC after local on the 8th? It was just added to Coinbase last week, and has been moving up. Clinking beer mugs, high voltage sign, 1.529135 XTZ.
What's up, Tucker? Thanks for the 421. Yeah, I mean, if you look at Coinbase, it's like that, right? Great. Maybe we could find something else. More data. Oh my god, man. KNC's been doing pretty wonderful. All off that double bottom stuff, right? It looked like everything else in a way, you know, like. Or if you just go by like Fibonacci, the high points to low points, you've exceeded a 382. It seems like the next target's 81.5 cents, and that is a 50% retrace. So that is a very moderate reversal point where the asset could hit it and then reverse to the downside to come back test areas as support that maybe were once resistance. What's up, SEO? Thanks for the sub, dude. Saw you chatting in there. So one bottom, two bottoms. You can see it way clear on the weekly here. All right, just a double bottom, man. And so I guess like you'd look at this is kind of the neckline right over here. I mean, if you talk about a measure move of this asset, which I don't know if it'll make it, it's not really selling off like Bitcoin is. Oh God, I'm in log scale. Hold on. Still visible. Now, I mean, that's probably the best way to look at it. It's almost at, if you look at this as a double bottom, it's almost at its target. Dirt in linear scale. Pretty clean in log though. So, you know, the target, no value, right? Because of it hitting its target, price target. And we're talking 30-cent measured move. So it's got a little bit more room before 100% retrace, but man, this is pretty deep, and you can't even use Fibonacci really in linear scale because of how high it was at one point. I mean, at one point it was at $6. Many of these S coins did that, and now look at them. So it's attempting to recover, and if you look at it in logs, probably the best way to use Fibonacci on it, I would think anyway. Sorry. So if you look at it in log scale, percentage change, 279%. Right around there. So right around 160 is 100% logs, 100% percentage measured move, not price. So just know that, and high to low on Fibonacci. Yeah, again, nearing the 50% retrace. And the 618's at 131 log scale. So looks very different, like completely different charts from log to linear. Sure thing, Nefarious. Thank you for watching, man. Can't even hear my music. It's so quiet. Whatever. Yo, what's up, Billy, man? Long time no see, dude. Where you been? Guess you've been hanging out at the water cooler. Yeah, I'm sure there were a lot of piercing lines. I'm sure there were all kinds of things, but you know, on the stock market, and it's not because the individual assets, it's because of the indices. The indices did it, so everything followed behind it. It's like altcoins and Bitcoin. So here you are with the new month going on. New month, new day, and tomorrow will be a new weekly candle. So the weekly closing tomorrow is going to certainly be a bearish engulfing candle, near its lowest point of the entire week. You'd like to rally to get away from that because, I mean, you know, the less weightage there is on the bottom and the deeper the price is, the stronger the engulfing candle, where you could certainly get follow through price action if this holds up. So I think there might be a demand line, again, around here at 7,700. But the main thing to take from the weekly is we know there could be lower prices, and that's okay. You could drop another near $1,000, and it still wouldn't be that crazy. It drops under $1,000, you might be screaming opportunity with a very symmetrical looking inverse head and shoulders. Right, 7,700's that bottom back from October, September 2019. Maybe we get it here, but there's always a chance, you know, 82 to 8,500 holds up too. All right, that's very, very important, because you don't, if you fall below 85 to 8,200, there's a real good chance you will see 7,400, and that's where that wick was. That wick went down to touch that before blowing up. So I don't know. In my opinion, I don't want Bitcoin to fall below 82 to 8,500, but a lot of people are saying it will. And that's great, man. Well, I mean, you say buying opportunity, but there is no real divergence on the daily. But I'll tell you this kind of what's going on the 4 hour. RSI showing some more divergence. That's kind of weird. So you look, man, that's a reversal candle or pattern, excuse me. You know, it's like a wedge, but you could sell off down here. But look, I mean, and this may not play out, but it's like a low, a lower low, and a technical lower low where traders settled up, and you have higher levels of relative strength again. I mean, that's like triple RSI bullish divergence going on right here. What are you talking about, Rob? Told you the inverse head and shoulders wouldn't play out. Oh, I don't talk like that because nothing's certain. But if you're talking about the weekly inverse head and shoulders, that you're wrong. I did not say that. Clip it, because dude, that is a great looking potential pattern. It hasn't even, it's not done though. It's a potential pattern until it breaks the neckline, and the shoulder, right shoulder, hadn't even really been created yet. So that's interesting right there. Impending price action reversal to the upside. And if you're asking about a target to the upside, if it was to hold, which I don't know, man, and I'm not saying it's that great of an opportunity. Believe me, you can get trade setups with way better looking variables than this. But a measured move would put you around 91.50. Wow, I talked about that target yesterday. That's where it could maybe rally to. Yeah, Renee, probably. Probably, dude. What's up, Spin B? How am I? Meh. How am I, dude? How are you, Billy? You say 9K incoming, but I don't know, man. I mean, it can go either way, dude. I mean, just as easily as it could break to the upside on the RSI divergence, it could also dump down to the bottom maybe of this little pattern that's developing, right? So, you know, you had your impulse down, and at the end of the impulse, you start converging in price action, and you start, you know, on your lower lows, and that's when the exhaustion starts setting in. But again, like, the sell-off could eventually turn into negative Momo for the MACD. But man, if this RSI keeps showing like this, it's pretty good. It's pretty good stuff. We'll see, man. And go the other way too, right? Just as easily as you can break the upside, look, downside targets too. What? That puts us down to 7,800. Are you kidding me, man? Yeah. Well, it's always two samples we have of the halving has always been good for Bitcoin. I don't know if it's going to happen this time, dude. 2 samples isn't hardly enough to say, yeah. I mean, historically, yeah, it does well. It does well leading up, and then it sells off, corrects for a while, then goes to parabolic all-time high runs. So I don't know if Bitcoin's going to do it this time. So weird, dude. So, you know, have an account and to act like you're somebody that you're not. Like, what's the, you know, what's like the motive behind that? Does it make you feel good? I don't know. You have to vote. Yeah, I think we all do. We all vote next week. Okay, man. Well, that's it, dude. I just was here for the monthly candle close because no one else is going to be live for it, really, you know? So, hope you enjoyed it. My I'll be back probably tomorrow, I guess, for the weekly candle close stream. So hopefully you can join me then. So thanks for the likes, love, support, the contributions, everything. I really, really am grateful for y'all. You just don't even know. All right. So I'll be back. Till next time. Respect to the T. Hey.